Hello and welcome to the first video of Car Curiosities. My name is Anton. My goal here is to bridge the gap between car owner and mechanic and to make those people who don't know what's going on under the hood of their car more comfortable with it. In this first video, we're going to take a step in the electrical concept sort of direction of it. This all started with a question from Bobby. He asked, is there a way to prevent the door chime from continuously beeping when his door is open on his 2015 Chevrolet Silverado 1500? The reason he's getting annoyed with it is he likes to load and unload his car for work with the doors open and listen to music. Well, what I discovered through research is that this is a common problem and it annoys a lot of people because that door chime just keeps beeping, 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 no matter what you do. So what I'm going to address and conceptualize in this video is the least invasive solution. Now, this solution does basically forfeit a couple of the features of the vehicle. Mainly one, and that would be the light that tells you that your door is open. On the same side of that, there are other options to do it. I have seen people online eliminate certain speakers, but I feel like that is more invasive. So why don't we go ahead and start covering this idea that I have here. So the first thing I did after doing the research was look up a wiring diagram and see exactly how the car knows that door is open. So if you look at the wiring diagram I have on the screen here, what I have over here is the driver door latch, which basically not only unlocks and locks, but lets the computer know when to turn on the light for the door being open. Now I do have the circuits highlighted here that go to and from that door latch, but the main one we're looking for is this gray one here. This gray wire with that normally open switch, which means that in order for that light to turn on, that switch would need to be closed. So that gray wire goes all the way back to the BCM, which is the body control module, which is in a sense the computer for the body of the vehicle. The engine has one, which is the ECM, and the transmission has one, which is the TCM. But right now we're focused on the BCM. And you could see that it goes all the way up to the left front door ajar signal switch. So that is that switch we're looking at right here. Now what I believe is the situation is that this switch either opens or closes when the door is open or closed. Let me simplify that. So in order for the computer to know to turn on that light or to turn on that chime, it is either looking for no signal or a signal. If it's expecting to receive no signal when the door is open and it's going to turn on the light, that switch needs to be open, and vice versa. So what I would recommend to do in this situation, and take it with a grain of salt, it does depend how much you want to get into this. It would require you, depending on which doors you open, to take the door panel apart, take it off, take that connector out of that door latch, and do a little bit of wire splicing. Effectively, what you would want to do, if it's a normally closed switch, is to just cut this and cap off the ends, this gray wire here that goes to that switch. And I will cover how to figure out which wire that is in a couple of minutes. Now, if you have to do the opposite and it's normally open and it closes when the door is open, signaling that light and chime to come on, you would actually want to cut this wire, and I would recommend cutting a couple of inches from the connector if you ever want to repair it, and splice it with wire splice into this black ground wire that should also come out of that connector. What that will effectively do on each latch you do this for is it'll keep it closed and in that situation, signal the computer that the door is always closed. As a result, you are sacrificing that feature from your car, but you are in a way disabling that door chime. So this is just an example of how you would do it. As I said, there is two options of how this would be effectively carried out, and it depends on how that switch functions. You would need to test it with a jumper wire and see if just cutting that wire turns off the door open, door ajar light, and if it doesn't, you would need to splice it. Fairly straightforward, takes a little bit of wiring and cutting and a little bit of disassembly, but it is 100% reversible. And that is the most important part. You know, you don't really want to do something permanent to your vehicle that you might want to undo. So, talking about the connector and effectively recognizing which wire you need to cut or splice, there are a couple of little bit of resources that I'm going to supply in this video. Let me go ahead and pull up a couple of them here. Bear with me here. So this first one is the diagram of the connector. Now this arrow indicates that these pin numbers are going from the back of the connector. So that would be the opposite that plugs into the door latch. You can notice by this arrow, and it tells you how they're lined up for pin numbers. Now the reason I am showing this diagram is for this table that I'm about to show you. It indicates which pin on that connector that wire goes to, which is gray. GY is gray, BK is black. So those are the two wires you'd be looking for. And as you can see here, it indicates that the left front door ajar switch signal is the gray wire and the ground is the black wire. And the two pins that there are that you need to worry about is 1 and 3. So 1 would be here and 3 would be here. So that gives you an idea of where to look for those wires, and it helps you confirm that you're messing with the correct wires. So to summarize all of this, the solution in this situation would be to eliminate that switch one way or another, so that the car always thinks that the door is closed and that alarm never goes off. If you do have any further questions, feel free to comment and I will get to them when I can. And if you have any questions of your own you would like me to address, please do specify the make, model, and year of the vehicle. And if you do know the engine size, 3.5 liter, something like that. That lets me research it a little bit easier if I need to. And if I do need to ask you a couple of questions, I will reach out to you through the comments. Now our channel is called Car Curiosities, and it also is a Facebook page. And I will be using the Facebook page as a resource for questions. Put a post on there, and it will become my next video, if not the one following it. I will try to do this, hopefully a daily video if I have enough time, at least every other day, depending on how many questions come in. As I said before, ask me something as simple as how to fill up your washer fluid, all the way to something like this: how do I disable the door chime? And I will help you find an answer. Thank you. My name is Anton, and this was Car Curiosities Video 1.